The content presented in this video podcast is intended for educational purposes only. It does not promote or condone any illegal activities or the use of illegal substances. The information provided should not be considered as legal or therapeutic advice. Always seek the advice of a qualified professional for any legal, medical, or psychological matters. Viewer and listener discretion is advised.
Here we are.
Hey.
It's been a while.
It's been so long
From
since
one
I've
room to
seen
the
you,
other.
yeah.
Huh?
Well, you've been here a lot. You like our little set.
Yes, I really love it. That's great, guys.
We must get Eliana in one day to talk about her.
Yeah, I was thinking that last night of like tagging on
Everyone.
We should tag on everyone.
Yeah,
on it.
absolutely.
But it's
Yeah.
not good. I put us down as a collaborator with the workshop, but you have to accept. But you don't use.
I want to see where is this acceptance. I can't find acceptance.
What's that for? Is that for
That's
Facebook or?
No, it's for Instagram. If you're collaborating, like when we do something and put it on Instagram, we are collaborators, and then you tag other people.
Okay.
Anyway, we need help with this sort of thing.
Yeah, the social media thing's a mission, no?
Because
It's a different beast.
the last time when I did the workshop as well, I just posted them all in, and suddenly the poster's cut top and bottom because it matches the first frame, and it's just like it's lessons that we had to learn with
Yes.
social media
Technology and that.
and editing and all of this stuff as well,
Yeah.
particularly. Where is Jamie today? Oh, he's with Joe Rogan.
He's always with Joe Rogan. He's great.
I keep trying to entice him.
I watched yesterday. So, have you heard of Terrence Howard?
No.
Have you heard of Terrence Howard, the actor?
Yeah.
He's a black actor. Well, he's like 58. He
Young
looks
guy.
amazing.
Young guy.
He's
Older than you, younger than me.
so, but he's also, he went on Rogan a while ago and he started like completely trying to shift everything we know about maths, physics,
Oh, I've watched
energy,
Yeah.
the universe, frequency, vibration, all that cool, interesting stuff. And the podcast was amazing. And he was talking about that gravity is a consequence of electromagnetism, and it's the electromagnetism, and that actually gravity is the sort of wave in the wake of the electromagnetism that happens at a geometry, sort of matrixy.
Wow.
It goes off, dude.
Taking notes?
No, I've taken a microdose again.
Just watch your hair with the microphone a little bit. It's okay. Just.
Is that going to cause an issue?
No, not at all. It's fine.
Yeah.
But
And yesterday you had Eric Weinstein.
oh yeah, I like him. He's like,
So it was them two together, and it was him.
because he's a scientist.
But he's like next level, and the conversation, and then so that you've got this dude Jamie in the background who pulls everything up. So whenever something's confusing, but he's in the background and he's like a fucking machine. He's almost predicting what they're talking about. So he's pulling it up instantly, but like deep sciencey.
I love this stuff. It's amazing.
He's
Yeah.
amazing. So that's Jamie. That was the reference to Jamie.
Okay,
there.
okay.
Yeah.
We have no
We've got no
That's
Jamie.
why we have to run the
Not
cameras,
yet.
come in, and I disappear from time to time.
Yeah.
But anyway, we'll say welcome, everybody. Again, this is episode 4. We finally worked out this is episode 4.
It is episode 4.
And of The Alchemist and The Solution. And I'm Matthew the Alchemist.
I'm Jez the Solution, and today we are very honoured, grateful, happy to welcome Munay.
Thank you,
so
guys.
much for coming.
Thank you for the curiosity and the warm welcome.
Yeah.
It's always nice to be with you.
Super. Well, I know you very well, obviously, because we've been working together for a long time. Both in ceremonies.
Yeah.
As a medicine woman, which you are, which has been amazing, and also now with the Visionary Compass cards. This podcast is mostly about transformation. What I want to know, maybe straight off the bat, Is where are you with your transformation now?
So with my transformation is I'm trying to reach the beginning of the circle that I identified that our system goes through, which is cellular response 4 is the method that I identified that goes through these 4 phases: release, reinform, rejuvenate, and remembrance. And so I try to live this in my everyday life through conversations, through relationships. You know, I have these, because I function well through containers. If I don't have a container, I'm also very much connected to the invisible world, and I tend to just layer myself out. So through container, I find life is easy to perform. So I created this container for myself, and now in my personal transformation, I feel I'm on release. I definitely need to empower my practices and potentially also evolve them in order to have a way that match what I need now to create more space inside my system. So a lot of my personal growth at the moment is to apply what I also offer to people in matching it with practices that they suit my needs in the moment. So working also a lot with time and space, which has been challenging in a way, because as I am a system that regenerates quite fast, it's easy for me to burn, because I kind of have to stop, you know, right when it's really the end of the. So time and space are being big teachers for me. I know my territory, my area of work very well, but I have to master my personal time, inner time, family time, all these dimensions, work time that we know, and the space to breathe inside at a different level. So that's the request I feel of my development right now.
Amazing. Yeah, just jumping in again, is that we've just done a workshop with regards to the visionary compass cards. And it was a wonderful workshop, and we were just using the first temple card and the first 3 moon resource cards. And the first temple card is the eye, to see and be seen, where you pay attention. And then the first 3 are time, space, and territory. And I use the cards regularly at home, where I draw cards, but these ones were so relevant to where am I putting my attention. I'm overdoing things slightly at the moment. I have a DJ gig coming up. I did a photo gig the other day. We're doing this podcast every week. We're doing workshops every week at the moment. I'm still trying to get work. I have these kind of I'm not managing my time so well, nor my space particularly, and it's really helped me with the eye to know, okay.
So is that
attention?
Is that so? I haven't really looked at I haven't experienced the visionary cards. So is that a card with an eye that just invites the question?
Yes.
So is it an invitation?
So the opportunity, these cards are simply another container, like a portable container, and they're formed with 12 temples that symbolically they represent 12 different aspects and teaching of life that we encounter consciously or unconsciously. And so the opportunity with each of them is to not identify. So it's not the card that tells you you are this in this moment, but it invites you on a quest.
Yeah.
And of course, the more you are open to perception and you peel the layer of the seed of each card, the more potential you explore about yourself. You know, with the eye, you can go for months and observe. Yeah. How do I see myself and how I've been seen as a result, and vice versa. So the goal is to make us independent always. That's what I find, where and when I find value in practices. When you can take something at home and use it because it belongs to you in a form, to see and be seen. Yeah. The eye temple belongs to you, belongs to me, belongs to everybody. It's just being contained and framed in a portable tool, because life is so fast and so demanding in many ways, and so you can pick it up, take it out and have some support
Nice.
to explore. That's why I appreciate about the tool. Yeah.
I mean, my only experience with cards is like guidance cards, or is that how you would maybe say that they are as well? Guidance cards?
I mean, the guidance, they activate the seeker inside of you. So, and one of the goals is to build the trust within yourself, to become your own golden teacher, to become your own, to train your system to recognize your voice as the predominant God. So it's inviting a relationship with the self, where yes, you are guided, but it's a mirror. So and it shows you where you're at and where you can go, but without defining who you are. You know, it's just like without defining your qualities as a person, or without defining your past lives into you were the goddess or god or what. You know, it's a guidance that gets activated within, because we all have it, and sometimes it's just buried under the mistrust of some type of experiences of life or relationship that left an imprint that override that primal trust that we have, which is the potential that we want to awaken individually and collectively. No, it's so.
Nice.
This is
Super.
why I find them so useful. Is they just help me see things from a different level. They help me connect to my soul, and try to see
Your
things.
soul?
Your soul, my soul.
That's going to be the
Our soul.
same joke there.
We love that joke.
Love that joke.
We are souls together.
Yes.
Just
Whatever works for you guys.
Exactly. Yeah, but what I love about one thing I came up with
my
recently
question
is
was-
soul jamming. That's
soul
what we like
jamming.
to
That's
do
better.
here.
That's
Okay.
better.
To soul jam.
Yeah, I like that. That's cool.
So how did you? So my understanding is that you created the cards, and you kind of brought them into reality in the sense of made the cards.
I just made them
practical.
Exactly.
So can I ask, like, how did you come to that? How did you come to the creation process of
Yeah. How did they
bringing these into reality?
So I'm an investigator. I find myself, I like to investigate myself a lot, and also in a way like a scientist that is not a scientist, but I'm very introspective. That's where I find life also very interesting. So I've been investigating life for personal needs and for curiosity, really, with my husband, with Nijen, on some aspect of life for a very long time. So we will go into ceremony or into meditation practices, sit on the sofa in our living room, and we will just write everything that will come with me. I have a very strong bond with the invisible world, which it's very much part of my, everyday perception. And so we've been writing about all kind of things. And it's infinite, of course, because depending on which door you open a new perception on even the same subject, depending on what you are, what I was in that moment, what I needed, what I was willing to see. So it's just like it was unfolding very interestingly.
Can I ask a question on that? And obviously, coming back to the cards, when you say you're very connected to the invisible world, what does that mean for you?
It means that realm of that invisible mycelium, that network of perception and knowledge where I'm connected to, because of my lineage, because of my family, because of my relationship with you in this moment, and we are connected to this invisible mycelium that stores all the knowledge of Earth and life. And that's why there are many people that can call themselves channels, or their awakened thoughts and perceptions, especially lately, because it is available. Yeah. It's an opening that needs to be cultivated, because it's born from trust with that realm. So the more we are open to the possibility that not everything it's this, the more the knowledge is available. So, and it's collective. It's not, specially preserved just for me or for you. It's just it's a relationship actually, really, with this celestial mycelium that I call.
Can I ask again?
Yeah.
Sorry. It's fascinating. Thank you.
That's why we're called soul jammers.
So, how have you always been that? Have you always been like that, openly connected to the celestial mycelium, the way that you label it? Or is that something that's because not everyone has that. Do you know what I mean? Not everyone has that. Exactly like you say, it's open because we are all that, but not everyone is as open to it or connected to it. So is that something that you cultivated, or is it something that you were naturally sort of being?
I think it's both. So I remember, but with different levels of awareness. For example, I always remember being having this feeling of knowing without knowing. Like I think we all have that. We label it with intuitions, or there was always from very young this sense of I know, but I cannot justify that knowing with my life experiences of the here and now because of my age. There were things that would always come very natural to me, and I've been always super observant. That was one of my qualities, and this mostly because I never felt I belonged. But sometimes from a place where, of course, in teenage age or when you're younger, you wonder, like where's my tribe or my place? But it was deeper than that, and I don't know if you guys can relate, or in some phases of life, it's just like there is something bigger. I cannot see it. I feel plugged in. And I'm looking into with the eyes of what I can see. It's not manifested fully, but it was there. It was a quality that I came with. I would say this way to see the world or perceive it or wonder. Or, it was like the seeker, the insatiable seeker. It's like, so I was able to be with everybody. All different tribes, the hippies, the punk, the blah blah blah. But then my space was alone, like I don't belong in a way. I belong, but I don't belong. So that's how the best I can explain it, I guess.
Nice. Thank you.
Welcome.
Thanks for sharing that piece. And was there anything with that awareness, like growing up with that? Was there a moment, or was there a thing, or was there some experience in life that led you to explore that more?
Yes, certainly it was the type of family I choose. I like to say I choose, or I resonate with, and so I came to this life to grow from there, possibly up, possibly. And so my parents were definitely seekers, and so I've been in the field of self-development. And from a very young youth, I was really observing people. My father always told me, you should have been a psychologist. And for me, like, why should I be a psychologist? In a way, those things are built in me. I want to learn something that serves me because I don't know it. It's just like, there is this sense inside of me that wanted to break the pattern that you should do what you're good at. For me, it's like I wanted to do what I wasn't so good at. And so I went into art. Because for me, art was the way that I could download a lot of information in a container. So it was my high intelligence, my perception wanted to purge or to reflect in a way that I could just understand something fast. So, but I needed that to see and be seen. I needed my connection to creativity, not because it was practical and I was a master painter, but because I needed to deliver to myself, to release, back to the beginning, of the circle, to release my feeling, my growth, my wondering what's life about, and splash out there. So definitely art was my first conductor. I was trying to express myself through expressions, creative expression.
It's a great way to get started, to connect to because I always call it my creative self, because I think of it as like being creativity. God is not a creator, a noun. He's creativity. Not that he's him either. He's a it's an automatic.
They, he, she, they.
She is they. They, them.
They, them.
Is creativity, and it's often that's when I feel most connected to my soul, is when I'm being creative in whatever it's not really painting for me, but it's creating something, and that connects me. It sort of gets my ego out of the way, and I get entrained into being creative, and that's when I feel most connected to my soul. So it's a great way to.
It is, and
like
it's
a meditation to
it is, and it's like it also showed me the field of art taught me about appreciation for the diversity and the others. So I've never been really a competitive person, because I've been in the art fields, and when you look at art, I mean, you can see the reflection of somebody completely different than you, and see how his world appear through painting, sculpting, anything. And so it was like the appreciation for diversity was really like, you know, then when the seeds of co-creation kind of emerged, because everything was interesting, that was different than me, you know, it's just, so yeah, that was my first channel. And then definitely I've experienced a lot of meditation. My mom had a meditation center, my dad was a reflexologist, training, you know, like I did a lot of so many things very young.
Yeah.
So, and never felt really satisfied, because I was like, yeah, but there's something else, you know, I could never sit with the practice more than a certain time, because also I realized that as I was changing, my practices needed to change. So I don't believe that we can stick to the same things for all our lives. I think the ability of being creative beings is also within like observing what we need and what the world needs and how we tune in and be creative with it and regenerate the practices. So I stayed with Osho for a little bit, and I stayed with art therapy for a little bit, and then I was like, yeah, but let's keep going. You know, that's where I get.
And so when did the mushroom come in?
So I've been working before the mushroom. I've been connecting with teacher plants. It's now 11 years ago with ayahuasca. And the mushroom came in because I started to work with ayahuasca as a self-discovery amplifier, in a way also supported by the fact that I have done so many other things before. So I was really like, and it was a very familiar place always. And then through the ayahuasca, because I was living the discomfort of not belonging to exactly their tradition and not be able to control, or not, control is not a good word, but like I couldn't be part of the full cycle. You know, it's not like I've been in the jungle for years and then somebody gave me the sacred pipe, told me you already bring the ayahuasca to the world. You know, it wasn't, even though I could have definitely stayed with it, ayahuasca told me you can activate the same space with the mushroom. And so then I tried a couple of ceremony. One was with you, and then I started to just, I'm a big lab.
I remember.
Yeah, you remember that? I was like, interesting.
It was a bit chaos, wasn't it?
No, it was.
Yeah, come on.
Where was that?
That
No,
was
I was-
in Villa Franca.
Okay.
And it was, we had to do it indoors, no? Because it was raining.
Yeah, I think I disturbed everybody dancing the whole time.
Well, I think I disturbed everyone dancing the whole time. I was meant to be holding it.
No.
You
There
two
was-
guys just jamming, dancing together.
There was a bit of a disturbance in the force when I tried to put a meditation in the middle of it, a Ramdas meditation. And there was so much resistance. It was like, what the fuck is this?
Well,
I was like, oh, okay.
Anyway.
Yeah.
it worked.
God,
We
it
all
was
came
great.
out alive.
Everyone came out alive.
No, except
Yeah.
that guy. Do you remember that last guy in the corner?
Yeah. He's still there,
Is
no?
he okay?
Yeah.
That's why you moved out, right?
The soul is there. No,
Can we just edit that bit?
no, it was beautiful. It was
Yeah.
beautiful.
That was when you moved over from to psilocybin was with Jez.
When I did with him, in a way from him,
Yeah.
in a way from you, Jez, and also I've tried a couple of different things, and then I just experiment. I started, just I did it alone in so many different settings, and like with ayahuasca, I did it pregnant, I did it with my period, I did it sick, I just wanted to cover the fear, at least from my angle of perception, to be able to.
I do love what you said about accessing the same space. That's something that people over the years are always like, I want to do mushrooms because it's lighter or it's easier, and then I'll do ayahuasca. And I'm like, okay, cool. But
I just feel it's very different.
It's different in my personal experience and opinion, which is all this is, isn't it?
That's all you've got.
That's all I got. It's all I can go from.
It's a good place to start.
It's great, no? At least it's that.
Yeah.
Because it could be we are, they are.
Making it up.
I like that as well. But I just find it, I personally find it's a very heavy body load, ayahuasca, in the sense of the purgative process being either vomiting or shitting or, I think that's it, I think that's the two options.
Well, I don't know.
I think that's all you can go for with ayahuasca. I know there's more.
It's not just about that, but the release aspect is much more there with ayahuasca than in that sort of way.
In a physical way. Whereas I find you can get, personally, I feel you can reach the same intensity, depth of experience with the mushroom.
Yeah.
And the purgative process is not necessarily physical, or obviously physical. It might be tears, yawning, stretching, but the release aspect for me, if it's guided in the right way, and if it's held in the right way, the release aspect can be for me as equal, the same space. Exactly, kind of. That's my perception of it.
Yeah, I mean.
So I like what you said about it.
Yes, I think there are many. I mean, if you want to talk about that, there are many different factors that makes them similar and different at the same time. I mean, and they all are connected in a way to the language of energy and the language of frequency, because ayahuasca, it's grown from two different plants that grow from a long time. They have an imprint that is very much within the culture.
Yeah.
And they're being prepared with people, singing Icaro, and every Icaro has a frequency, and this frequency has a pattern that it gets imprint within the preparation. And this is ancestral, so they tend to, the procedure is that they prepare these with their abuelos and the abuelas, so it's charged.
That's amazing. But who do I know? I don't know the guy. I'm sure they're fine. I'm sure they're infusing the medicine with really beautiful things. But do you know what I mean? For me, there's a little bit like, I don't know who's made it, where it's come from, I'm sure the intention behind, as long as someone sources it in a manner which they know all that information, and they know the lineage, and they know the.
Yeah.
But I don't know the guy who's singing his frequency into the medicine. And
yeah, I hear you.
How does that affect my experience? Or
it does affect. My experience is it does affect it, because, and that's why the source is very important, and the culture where it comes from. Because I have experienced also some type of ayahuasca made with from different tribe, different field, or I'm not even sure that was properly. And there is a release of information that you absorb that they influence your perception, especially in the more superficial layer of which is the psychedelic one, the psychedelic layer of the psychedelic. So the one where you start to see figures, where your brain is just adjusting to the expansion of perception. So you perhaps sees like certain like figures coming from certain tradition. I mean, it's like there is an imprint of everything that has been, the plant is being co-created and informed with. While with the mushrooms, in a way, yes, they belong to the mycelium, yes, they source information, but they have a youth because their lifespan is shorter, they grow faster. And I feel there is more, in a way, there is a space that you can co-create with the mushroom that is more, how can I describe it? It's more not clean, but is not imprinted with such history.
Yeah.
You know, it's
Not
more
infused with tribal, traditional, cultural, maybe infusions, songs
yes, which is
in the
very
active.
exactly, which is with ayahuasca. If excuse me, if it's a good lineage, then you know it's amazing because then you have the support. That's why it can be very powerful because it's the support. It's the grandmother, the grandfather, all this culture, connection, nature, and everything, you know, coming with you.
But can I just
Yeah.
like that? I like the call that you said earlier on about this cosmic mycelium that you connected to. So, in my opinion, even though that the mushroom has a short lifespan, actually, what it comes from, the mycelium, is ancient. And
No,
it's
definitely.
Probably, so for me, the information is it's more. It's very cosmic at sometimes, but it's also very earthy. It's very like it's without the interference of, or not interference is the wrong word.
Yeah, but I know what
but
you
without
mean.
the
Yes.
other symbology and the other things which might not necessarily be connected to my journey,
agree with that.
my history, my
Yeah.
lineage.
I think
So that's something that just with a short lifespan, but also infinite lifespan as well.
I said short lifespan because in that youth there is the potential also of imprint. For example, you know, which is exactly, I agree with you. They have these, they are plugged into these two different, which are connected but two different realms. And at the same time, because of their youth, they can be used to be imprinted with what's in the here and now more easily. You know, so for me, for example, I grow them because they're a mirror of self-responsibility in which my energy field impact them in their short lifespan. So if I'm not centered, if I'm off, you know, it's like having a witness in the room where my family dynamics are, my child is, and my animals are, in which I'm like, I know they are absorbing me and the others. And so it's an opportunity, you know, for me to work with something that will be not possible with another plant because it needs to be in a certain, you know, it has a different process and to belong to their growth, to be with it. That's why when people come and take the mushroom with me, I know what I give them, you know, because it's part of me. They're being imprinted with my frequency, with my emotions, and so it's a good way to monitor, you know, where my growth and where I am.
Nice, that's beautiful. Really beautiful that you do it that way.
Yeah,
I think that's amazing.
it's more difficult, more work.
It's way more work, but deep, beautiful work.
So yes, because I've done 3 one-on-one ceremonies with you, I think, and all slightly different. You definitely seem to have a growth within. You know, I remember very well. I remember the one where you used to hum, which was amazing, and you would move around my energy field, and you would come to you'd stop at a point where you would feel something, and I would have a 20-minute experience with my mother's father, who died when I was 4, and I don't remember at all, but I had an amazing experience with him, and then we would relax, and then I had another experience where my mum was with my daughter. I go like this because I still know where you were, when you were humming. I can feel them here. I can feel my grandfather here. I can feel my dad. My mum died when I was 3, and then my dad has passed more recently 15 years ago, but he was with my brother and my cousin, the male, and then I have them still, and this was like 2 or 3 years ago, I still have them embedded in there. And then the last one that we did together, you were more tuning in.
Mm-hmm.
So my question more is like, how do you feel your growth, your transformation within your journey as a medicine woman and what you're doing?
Yeah, it's you know, it's all of my contribution and remembrance, really, because it's a lot about that for me, like remembering things, the basics in a way of life in order to be able to perform this one in the best way I can, right? And that's what drives me also to share with people. But the center of it is to remember that, to have remembered that we are organic technology. And so by being organic technology, we have a special way to function. And so all my practices that you in part have experienced have taught me to evolve and remember closer and closer my connection to my cellular system in order to understand the language of frequencies. So what we did, for example, in the ceremony where you remember your mother and all these mycelium actually around you of connection and imprints that were there, it was just through an activator. So my job is to be neutral, but an activator. So through the frequency that comes out of my mouth, for example, when I hum, I hear the interference. I hear like zzz, like in the field of in your field, and then I know I don't see the stories. I see the disharmony, and so in that disharmony, I know there is some care to be provided with, some different strategy, some different tool that I recall, in order for you to get in touch with that imprint that you may not visualize right away into being in your cells, but that I have witnessed with many people working with me, it develops. It develops. So, and that with my practices, I have evolved in a way that, for me, is very practical, because it's becoming this bridge between the visible and invisible, between the epigenetic and the physical and the scientific one, with the world of feelings of emotion. Because I think we had a big phase of breaking through that, the generation of the past, of our youth. We got in touch with how do we feel, we allowed the feeling, and then it becomes all about the feelings. But when is the self-responsibility can come in if you don't know where those feelings are organized? And that's why I call ourselves like organic technology, because there is actually an imprint at the cellular level that get absorbed or released through the language of frequency. So then what do we need to know? We need to journey inside ourselves, like I'm doing, because I grow with my clients. I learned something from each of them. I learn or remember, and they often mirror maybe sometimes a bigger or minor aspect of myself that I'm actually living. And that's the beauty of it, because then I feel humble in this. I feel like if I could do it, you could do it. Because I was broken a moment. I was needy a moment. I felt a victim a moment, and I was also high in some moment with life and everything was good. So I am like everybody else, but I have maybe the lives I had before, they have pushed me in this one to remember things very young in order to be able to share them faster. But this is collectively also what is happening. So many people have this intuition, memory, they call it in many different ways depending on the influences, but there is a request for something more. So I have grown with those practices as I am discovering the brain, the cellular system, the organic technology, the language of frequency, and that's what I want to share. Because from there, you master yourself. Then when you feel something, you know where it goes. You know where is this in your cells. And then if you release them, reinform, rejuvenate, and remember, evolution and growth is much faster. So you master your container, and then you master like a container to observe yourself. For me, that's a good strategy. At least I feel that it worked with me and with the people that I work with.
Yeah,
you know,
no, for me, it's been amazing.
Sounds amazing. And like that, because yeah, there's a very inspirational, very, very beautiful, and I feel that my experience over the years, I've been very skeptical to a degree about anyone, how much interference the person holding the space, and this is my observations over the years with my own interference and how that, even that one that we did together, you know, all of it, the frequency, the vibration, the energy, you know, even though you might not be consciously, so, or I wasn't consciously interfering, that there was an interference. And that's obviously, well, it has shifted over the years into I do things in a very different way.
Yeah.
You know, we grow with each experience, and we learn so much from all of it. The whole environment that I was in, the family constellation that I had created around me, and that all gets reflected into everything that we do. So it got to a point with me where I was like, and I still feel that I need to do it this way, with as minimal interference as possible from myself, because I'm not there. Do you know what I mean? I'm not, because you also take the medicine, no? Or not?
Yeah, depends.
It depends,
Because
and dosage, and I personally, I can't. Do you know what I mean? I feel like I've got a lot still to clean and to work on and to shift and to release and to remember and to reinforce. So it's really beautiful. It's really beautiful and inspirational to hear the way you describe, because it doesn't sound like interference. It sounds like cleaning, almost like cleaning the space, like a constant cleaning of the space. That's how I interpret kind of what you said, to allow the information to flow to where it needs to flow. That's kind of how I understood what you were saying.
I understand that without having, you know, but on the macro level, it's definitely like this. And it's like, I mean, it's a journey. It's a journey into self-esteem, into observing where we're at, where we are tools, you know, and you know, I call myself a medicine woman because the first cup of medicine, I gave it to myself, and it was self-responsibility. And now what I'm comfortable in calling my self-responsibility in regard, self-responsibility also, but medicine woman in regard to the outside world also, because I know I have that relationship with self-responsibility, and so I can offer this cup of self-responsibility also to the other. So, but this to say that I don't think it's a co-creation if you stand where you need to stand with the clarity that that's where you are at. And then because if we see every situation that we create like an organism, then if you look at your body, the nails know that is the nails, the nose knows is the nose, and the heart knows is the heart. So in an organism, you can place yourself where you know you belong. And that happens when we have journey into self-responsibility to build self-esteem and the observation of where we are in order to adapt to and position ourselves in a situation. So the fact that, for example, you feel like it's not that you are not there yet, you are exactly where you need to be for the development, you know, and the service that you're providing, and you're not interfering because you know where to position yourself. So in a way, within the session, it's the same is for me. You know, there are sessions where I'm a body worker. Like the energy in the room and the person and the co-creation requires me to actually touch the person and do, you know, and activate points in order for the energy to flow more.
Yeah.
You know,
and this is obviously something that I personally don't feel comfortable getting into, especially if there's females or, you know, there's definitely areas where, and when I say I'm not there yet, I don't think I'm going to get there. Do you know what I mean? The way that you do it, the way, yeah,
But
yeah,
you're
for
gonna,
sure. Because it's different.
It's different,
and the
but
way you and all your life's journey and all your, you know, the meditation that you grew up with and the Osho journey and your relationships, and that's all dictated your ability to, or not dictated, but led you along your path to do it your way.
exactly.
And
like,
that's so beautiful, the way that you describe it. That's I wasn't doing a comparison.
no, no. Sorry if I got back feeling like it's just like, I think to close the circle is a little bit like at the beginning we were talking about the different type of artists.
Yeah.
You know,
exactly,
it's just like
exactly the
it's
different
like
creation.
It's a different way to grow in different way and to manifest in different way through the things we love. We both love the space of the ceremony. We see the value for ourselves and the others, and you craft it with the artist inside of you, you know? And and the beauty of the world is like there are people that needs every type of art.
Yes. Yeah.
The more minimal, the more, you know, sophisticated, the carving, and then it's just about tuning in with ourselves in order to match where we are and who comes and go, and then there is no competition, there is no feeling not good enough, because we are simply painting two different ways.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I'm just really inspired by how you describe that piece of like the cleansing of the disturbance or the dissonance, there's no harmonic resonance somewhere that's a little bit distorted, and
yes, it's all about sound.
That's so cool.
But it's sound. But you know what I also show people is that we have a forgotten organ. It's our energetic placenta, because we are not just born from when we were in our mother's belly. We are not just born from the nutrients and the chemical aspect of this. We are born from sound. You know, and it's the same. Now on the outside, we have this organic placenta, you know, and that's where I work a lot with, is this organ that by being acknowledged, being seen, being nourished, being moved, knowing how it works, we can use to create a chamber of self-responsibility and a chamber of sounds. They hear our own voice. And then we can observe the pattern in a space with a distance that is comprehensible. Because if I tell myself, I'm not good enough, this bubble behaves like a gummy bubble, you know, it bounces back and I reabsorb it. If I nourish my placenta and things move, I transform it so radically that it just evaporates with the rest of the energy field. So there are a lot of things for me that they are very practical to know and accessible. So you don't need to be a scientist, you know, to reach, because if I understood it, everybody can. No, it's true. I'm not, you know, I'm not some PhD, you know. I just want to see, and I look, and then through repetition, I find things reliable. You know, it's like I'm observing, and I'm like, okay, this plant is growing this way. Oh, also it's growing this way. Oh, okay. Then somebody sees it the same way. Some of my clients, I'm like, okay, so they're also seeing it the same way. So I put together the information in order to find things reliable, and they make totally sense. And life, it's so much easier to perform.
God, you're fucking fascinating, dude. It's seriously cool to chat to you a little bit. I'm sorry, man.
Nice.
I'm sorry. It's so like, I'm just fucking like, whoa, dude.
I want to go back
it's
to your
so cool.
original question.
The cards.
Yeah. Well,
No, I love that.
But we've nicely gone into, because I know a little bit of the story of the cards, but it was you going into your own ceremony and putting an intention in. So tell us about the cards, how they came, how they arrived, where they came from.
So they came because, just quickly recap.
I think all of that was the cards, no? That we spoke about.
But see,
That's
just going with the flow.
infusion into that is like, what the fuck, dude? Sorry.
Yeah, no, it's cool.
No, because I was collecting all this information about the cell, the cellular system, and blah, blah, blah with Nietzsche, and there's just, God bless him, because he spent so many hours on the sofa with me, just like writing everything. And then they're actually born from a moment of frustration because I had so much material, and at the same time I was saying, this is infinite. You know, I can keep asking, and it's like, there is always a new perception.
Bed noise, you know.
yeah. Plus one.
Yes.
Yeah. And so that's where I asked for a container. I'm like, enough. You know, it's just like, this is not sustainable. This is shapeless in a way. I didn't want to mentally make an index with things, you know, like, I want a container. And that's where I discovered for myself, because I'm a very practical person, that I perform life better with containers. And I'm playful. I don't necessarily stick to massive books, you know, the whole time, because I get sometimes tired or sidetracked. So then I asked for a container. I'm like, I need a container. I want to see how I can organize all these perceptions. And then I saw like this card landing. So that here the psychedelic effect was handy because I physically in a way saw them. And then I knew the names. And so I wrote, I was with Nijen as well, so I wrote all the names. And then suddenly I saw how to play them. Like I knew the game. And through the name, eventually through the next days, I knew exactly what they contain. And so I wrote like the first lines of each seed, and then with time I develop it in a way that a person that has not had my experiences can go like from the first word to the last word, making a sense, you know, chop it a little bit, making a step by step. And then, you know, I played, I test them alone, and I saw the value of it, and I think the most value for me also from there was that I realized it's me. Mm-hmm. But it's not just me, it's the mycelium. You know, so it was just because there is this tendency that I have a little bit of judgment from here and there into this channeling thing. You know, it's just like, it's not necessarily one source, it's the experience itself stored in the system of this mycelium that we can access. So in some regard, it's a co-creation because it is me, and so that did help me to build the self-esteem and to understand my youth where I knew without knowing, you know, that feeling or like that I couldn't justify. And at the same time, the gratitude of everything that is connected to me, my mother, my father, you, Matthew, everything that plugs into, which is huge and infinite. And the type of frequency in a way that I've reached in order to create that type of quality, you know, so, and that's how they came. And then we were new friends, but through conversation, he just was super curious about it. And so he became a co-creator in a sense that also you know, when you create something, I guess we all relate to that. There is always a need of somebody in a way that also believes in you. Yeah. You know, either is the voice of...
Have you both here?
Yeah.
Both here. It's just like...
It's so important.
Creators at the moment.
Yeah.
You know, I'm so lucky. But anyway, carry on.
No, it's this. You know, I think it's not lack of self-esteem or like I am. It's about like we all need that reinsurance or to be seen in order to feel that we're worthy and there is value in what we do and reinforce each other. And so, parking, yeah?
Parking, I'm sorry. I'm really sorry.
No, go take care of
I've
that.
got to do my parking, sorry. Fucking Palmer's a nightmare for parking, by the way, everybody.
It's not easy. And it's super hot. Super hot here as well. It's hot. New York in the summertime.
Yeah.
But,
very blessed human beings, aren't we?
We are blessed, if we're going to say. But I'm so grateful. I live in the Tower of Love, which is La Calle de la Torre del Amor.
Yes.
So it's beautiful. But what it did for me, which I think is what it did for you, was it created a container for me to be able to put together everything that I've been learning through my studies with Zol Moreo at the Inner Alchemy School, but also I have a huge lot. When I moved here, I just was reading just an enormous amount of Alice Bailey and Gurdjieff and Sri Aurobindo and you name it. I'm just putting lots of stuff in there. As Jess says, I have a sieve for a brain, not a sponge.
Yeah.
So it just goes through so that my cup is empty nicely. But they gave me a container to be able to contain myself someday.
Yeah.
To be able to put things together in a very practical way. Because what I had is an enormous amount of information and things coming in, but what has happened with the cards is suddenly it becomes very practical.
It is practical because it's neutral. It's like they are the essential for a hiking trip in the backpack. You know, it's like if you have a neutral container that can, you know, trigger or amplify the knowledge within, plus what you identify with, you know, whatever culture or tradition or methodology, then for me it's super valuable because, and again, it doesn't, of course, belong to everybody because we are so also conditioned into telling somebody else from somebody else to tell us, you know, where we are and how we should be, and even in therapy and healing processes that you have to invest in them. They are like, come on, just show me what you can see.
Yeah.
And so it's.
And
yeah.
where are the cards? Do you have sets?
So we're getting there. It's a 2 years process in which now we're making the
2
prototype.
years since you started, up until now.
Yes.
From
Yeah.
when you had
that.
download.
Yes.
That.
It's
Which is, when I think of it as a download, is that suddenly you had it's like Mozart or something, that you got the whole thing in one, and then it's a case of it's like one packet of energy came in, and then you had to sit with hours with Nijana and write it all down.
Yeah. It's that relationship.
It was 2 years ago that I made the most simple, just with the names of the cards on,
Right.
so that we could start playing, or that I could start playing. I made a set for you and for me, and it meant that we could start turning. But then since then, you've been was like a journey of how to do it.
Yeah.
We tried to see if Eliana would create the cards.
Yeah, there were different relationship, and everything took me to AI at the end because
Yeah.
which was a blessing in a way because I would have made any artist miserable. I mean, I just had to develop my own symbology and my own representation and try. And so in that field, I appreciate what's available. But again, and it's another mycelium of information collected into an input I give. And
I love it. I love that
with
ability
the risk
to,
of in certain field, but
to have the thought or the idea and the procrastination or the barriers of resistance to create it. For me, all that shit's gone from when working with AI, especially with the imagery thing.
It took you a long time, though, right? I mean, it was a process, because we have the first prototypes, which are very beautiful cards, beautifully printed. We did 3, and now before they actually go into proper production.
Nice.
Jose Palma, who we actually need to mention nearly everybody.
Yes.
He's always with us.
He's everywhere, isn't he? He's a little mycelium.
Yes, he is.
But he's at the moment upgrading or
The resolution, and he's amazing. Yeah, so also in that process, recognizing my limitation and say, okay, from
Where
here
do I
on,
need help, and
I need
time.
and people
space.
come. The thing is, if when we relate as artists, then it's so easy to link people through things and to appreciate their skills. You know, it's just like I had the most amazing people in this project, like that kind of show up with flexibility, open heart, curiosity. The woman that partially did my website is now becoming the voice of the seeker, because I wrote a story of the seeker in these cards to help us visualize our personal journey. She became the storyteller, because I was like, this woman has an amazing voice, you know, like poetic. And I'm like, would you like to do that? So she tried something new, and it's just like, I love life like this. It's just so inspiring. Yeah.
And we're now moving on to, we're in the process of opening the gateway to our essence.
Yes.
What's happening? Because we have a very nice collaboration with 3 or 4 other people.
Yes, so I'm moving from more and more, I want to move from the one-to-one sessions to a program that I design and partially co-create with you and the other co-creators. Because I've realized that we can do so much more and people need time, more time. It's like, in a way, when I do the one-to-one, I can do more body work or it's more personalized, but at the same time, for people, it's hard to arrive in creating the right space before and after, even though there is guidance with preparation and integration. And so now we're launching in November from our first module 1 of the program, which is based on release. So the program is called The Art of, The Path of the Visionary, and module 1 is like The Art of Dying Every Day. And so it's focused on release. So one of the 4th are the first step, because it will be the module where I will teach and I will be supported with all the different expertise of different facilitators, about our organic technology, about the language of frequencies, about our cellular system, in order to access the let go that we all seek and have a quick regenerative process. And this comes through become friend with death. One of the first things I learned as a medicine woman that was reactivating remembrance is the perception of death. So suddenly I had a long phase in my life where instead of seeing everybody alive, I was seeing the part of I was dying. And this was a really interesting process because it is happening. We just so attached to the light that we kind of forget the process of death, which is in fact a moment of regeneration between 2 cycles. The one where we're more denser matter and the one where we go back to more the finer matter, just to simplify. And so this program is an opportunity to really dive deep into practices that are portable and can serve you as a start to initiate this let go and this relationship with death. And there will be like one central ceremony in which everything we've prepared with, through nutrition, which is an essential part for me, to regain that trust with death. Because I think we talk about it, we contemplate, we intellectualize around, but there is still a lot of fear that comes with understanding that. And we know that behind the fear of death hides all the other shadows. So all the other insecurity, the self-esteem, the self-love, the self-worth, they hide behind the not mastering the heart of let go of who we were, who we have been, and so we cannot regenerate and become. So that will be the first where we break the ice with this program, and we have. So with my teaching, there is Matthew with alchemic practices. So his value for me, beside being amazing and a people connector and having a huge heart, is like his history within different practices, so he can help people see what's possible, from Gurdjieff to alchemic alignment to all different things, so people can find also what belongs. So not imposing necessarily one thing, but to experiment. Yeah. And then there is Melania Gil de Sagrado, which is like a nutritional coach, amazing woman, and also she has worked with me, so she knows also my work very well, which facilitates, understanding this. And she will help start from step A, which is like if your body is on survival mode, it cannot relax. And if you cannot relax, you cannot let go. And that happened by training a system to believe that good stuff are actually coming in, good nutrition, good elements, so he can say, okay, and then the relaxation comes, and so as a consequence, it's easy to work with the let go. And then we have Penelope Mabor. She's a leadership coach and earth converser that you actually
fucking super cool.
exactly.
Yeah.
She's amazing. She embodies the connection with earth, and that's, for me, it's super important in a co-creation process. Also to be authentic to where I finish with my knowledge, so I can definitely take people to nature. I have a strong connection, but it's not like Penelope Mabor.
Yeah.
I mean, she's just like the earth.
Yeah.
And so for me, that's amazing.
The grounding that she gives.
The grounding, the intimacy, lost intimacy.
Yeah, the silence.
And because nature is the teacher of letting go. When we look at nature, everything has a cycle, and we are lucky that certain things live less than us in a way, even though they keep evolving. And we can observe that, And then Ruth, which is like a new entry, the quality of Ruth is also beside, her a beautiful depth and the intimacy within herself and with journaling. Because I think with journal comes accountability. It's not just a conversation. You write about what you feel, where you're at, and you can reappreciate where you have been by tracing back your progress. So she can be a wonderful teacher of that, because she doesn't necessarily has a product out, but she embodies journaling.
Yeah.
She's been journaling for forever. So and I haven't journaled like she has journaled. So that's where I pass the ball, and it's like, here is
What a cool team, man. What a really cool team. Nice.
I think it's a good combination, and there is so many possibilities. If I could, I will be like, oh, you are beautiful, you do this. Then we run the economy, and we're like, okay, we need 100 people.
On the team. This is a passion project now.
All
I'm a philanthropist now.
But it is a passion. It is a passion.
Yeah, of course. Of course.
Yeah.
It is, and in a way, we're trying to bridge each other with what we need. So we do this meeting. We've been trying every 2 weeks, or when it's possible, with some time dilutes, but it's in order to kind of bridge what we don't master.
Yeah.
And then it's like, let's embody the process.
I think that's important as well, to have that consistency with the meetings and keeping the conversation flowing and to co-create. Yeah. Especially having so many different people to get all that together. And
to bond.
To formulate it all, and to have a beautiful program crafted by everyone to offer.
Yes, exactly.
It's quite a complex process, getting everyone together.
Just meeting is a complex. Thank God there's Zoom. That's like.
Yeah. Well done.
So
cool,
it's exciting. It's exciting, and it's like also humbling, because we will see what's the response, what's the interest, where we're at, and we will adjust.
It's all part of it. It's all part of it. It's going to grow and evolve on its own. Like, it's not perfectly polished. Nothing is, no.
No, exactly. Definitely.
We polish as we go.
Polish as we go.
This is what we're...
Keep polishing.
We've been polishing for a while now, and it's good to step out. It's like doing this and that are two things that have, brought me out. Be able to come here and do our podcast was like...
Be a bit shiny.
Well,
shines things up a little bit.
Well,
it's also a nice practice to share where you're at and where we're at, and it's a really beautiful space to do this.
This sharing that we've been doing with you today and last week with Emmy and Nadine and before with it's amazing. It's like,
when you trailed off there.
Sorry.
It's amazing.
I'm sorry, dude. You're fucking...
It was going into thoughts.
With me and you, wasn't it? We were
yeah.
sharing together the first one.
Well, that was great.
That was it, yeah.
Yeah, we're going to do that. A penny or something.
That's it.
But it was, I love it.
It's really cool. It's really cool.
Share it with lots of people watching.
Because we don't get to do this.
It's great.
We don't. When do you do that? When do you sit down for a minimum an hour
with
someone and be like, this is the thing let's go into the weeds on it, and thank you for bringing us into the weeds and the complexities and the fractals and the beauty of the cosmic mycelium. I feel that's definitely going to be the title.
I love it.
It's going to be the title of this podcast for sure, no? It has to be.
Just to write that little thing.
It has to be, yeah.
Which is
Cosmic mycelium,
yeah,
bro.
we love it.
Stealing
Celestial.
Ah.
No, personalized.
Okay. Have you got
No, go for it.
Trademarked. Copyrighted. Got patents on it.
No.
So there'll be a sue and be a lawsuit on the way, okay? Because we need to raise the money.
Brilliant. So I'm not definitely not the one to be doing that.
But anyway,
No,
we shall
thank you.
say, that was it.
Yeah.
We've done amazing.
Thank you so much.
Thank you
Munay.
for
It
having.
was really beautiful.
Yeah.
Thank you, and
Amazing.
Thank you, brother man.
Yeah, thank you. And
Love you.
the one bites the dust.
Well,
And,
no, now it's out and now
thank you.
it will grow.